What's happening? Is this an orgy? What the? Wait, did I do something wrong? Where the hell are we? Hey guys, welcome back to Arcanum, and I was all capped attacked, okay, to play this. Because y'all were like, oh my goodness, you gotta play the finale. It's gonna, like, you're gonna be shook. So I am ready to be shooketh, okay? So, we're gonna be playing episodes 9 and 10. So, we're gonna finish the season finale in this video. My good to see. Is there, hold on. Is there an episode in season 2? I don't know. Hold on. Give me 2 shakes in the handbasket. I don't know what that means. Don't come at me. There's one episode. There's one episode. Okay. All right, there we go. We might get to that one, might not. Look, okay. I'll do my best. Right now, it's 10. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. It's Liam's birthday soon, and there's a fair opening in town, just like in Selena's world. Okay. Interessant. Are they gonna let me into the game? Here we go. Okay, we're ready. I forget what we're building up to. Oh, let me turn this off. Oops. My daughter's trying to get back to sleep. Oops. Okay, chapter 9, the fair. Oh, everything's blurry. There's a girl at the door. Her face gets blurry every time Selena tries to look at it. The stranger brings her finger to her mouth. Her lips whisper, shh. She invites Selena to follow her. She approaches a bed and looms over a sleeping person. Selena comes closer to get a better look. Where am I? Because I'm be honest, I forgot. Leah? The girl kneels, puts her head on the edge of the pillow and hugs him. Her hands caress his shoulders, his head, his hair. She softly hums a song. Fingers quietly creep under the pillow and take out a knife. It flashed in the air, reflecting her crazy eyes. No! The girl plunges the knife. Liam flinches and freezes. But she continues to stab him while laughing the entire time. No! The girl disappears. Where are you? Selena looks around in panic, then lowers her eyes and sees blood on her hands and a knife clamped in her bloody fist. No. She backs away from Liam's corpse. Did I kill him? Can you hear me? Josephine impatiently drummed her fingers on the doorknob, cutting off the possibility of slamming the door in front of her. Huh? Selena wearily ran her hand over her face. Yeah, stop yelling. I had nightmares all night long. My head is about to explode. There's a lot of work to be done today. And? Liam's birthday is tomorrow. I want to host a party in his honor. Mr. Stelz is okay with us having guests over. Birthday? Let's put our bickering aside and create a memorable day for Liam. Okay. I'll wait for you downstairs. Selena grabbed her hand. Josephine looked frightened as Selena's fingers gripping her wrist. Is there something else? This is the second time I've dreamed of someone in the bathroom. It just keeps on going. I'll stop taking baths soon. Have you seen this ghost too? A ghost? I haven't seen anyone. Stop speaking nonsense. Is there anything else? Don't let go until she tells you. What's the symbol meaning? I don't even remember what. I have enough, thankfully, but I don't know what this symbol means. What are even the variables? There's so many stories. I'm already lost. I'm sorry. That won't work, Josephine. Her voice was calm and firm. She wasn't going to back down. Who do you think you are? Let go of me immediately. You can yell at me as much as you want. I won't let you go until you tell me. What difference does it make? What difference? Paranormal things happen in this hotel, and you ask what difference it makes to me? My heart almost stopped. I live here just like you. I think I've got a right to know. Josephine laughed. You've always loved dirty secrets, Lilith. Are you saying you had no idea about my affair with him? I saw how you gloated. What are you talking about? Let go. Only once you tell me everything. She surrendered. He lived in our hotel. We had a thing going on. Her cheeks flushed. He loved to wash my hair. The only man who ever won my heart. You mean aside from your affairs with the ladies? You're heartless. Sorry, go on. Josephine pulled away and nervously straightened the sleeve of her dress. There's nothing more to tell. Our romance ended, like everything else under the sun. You've learned a part of the story, you have yet to learn the rest. How did he become a ghost? Honestly, I don't remember the name of the ghost. Josie said Charlie. Oh, someone named Charlie. Wait, or is it who's Damon? I have Charlie question mark, uncle question, dad question, but apparently it's not her dad. I would hope it's not her uncle either. And I also have in a question mark who is Damon. I have no idea what these notes are like. My notes are very unreliable. I don't believe in poltergeist. This conversation ends there. I'll be waiting for you downstairs. Whatever you say. Selena put on a dress appropriate for cooking and cleaning and went downstairs. Okay. Josephine was nervous to see her maid clumsily fiddling around in the kitchen. When they finished, they sat down in the living room to rest, exhausted and smelling of food. I need to get you more involved in the kitchen, or you forget how to cook altogether. Cooking takes too long. It's a waste of time. Josephine waved her hand, ignoring her words, and said, Go change your clothes and then run to the store to get a present for Liam. What should I get him? Take your pick. You always knew what he needed. Okay. Not good. I have no idea what to get him. She shook off the flour from her dress and went to change. The weather was sunny, so Selena decided to wear something light. Cool. What we got? A delicate dress. Okay, cozy. Or a sunny dress. Ooh. Interesting. Or a light dress. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like this one the best. Do we get stats or something? Should I test that? Cause it's intricate. I feel like with some different fabric choices, this could have been a nice dress. I don't quite approve with what I'm seeing though. Okay, so we have a little corset number around the waist, the midsection, and this follows all the way through. I don't know if I like the pattern. Just gonna go with this one. Let me know if that changes anything, because I have no idea. Weird thing. As soon as the sun comes out from behind the clouds and you put on a new dress, the world doesn't seem so awesome. She pulled back the edge of the fabric, staring at her outfit in bewilderment. It's just sun. Just clothes. Since when did I start enjoying little things like these? You should take more moments like that. After taking another look at herself in the mirror, she went outside. Selena was fussing in front of the window shop for a good 15 minutes, looking at every little thing. This is where we saw Lilith, right? She found the whole experience confusing and pointless. Selena hadn't bought a gift for by herself in years. She always sent her secretaries. By the end of the day, there always was a wrap box on her desk. All she had to do was hand it over to the birthday boy, pretending that she knew what she had given. Oh, fantastic weather today. Emily and her maid were walking towards Selena. Choosing gifts was the one thing Emily was actually good at. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, too. Hello. Oh, she's gorgeous. It's Selena's birthday tomorrow. I know. Naturally, I'm invited. Jesus, Emily, you're so arrogant. It just comes off as pathetic. Selena, please. Naturally. Could you help me choose a present for him? Emily was silent, looking thoughtfully at Selena for a while, and then suddenly said, Why not? I was unexpected. Did she actually agree? Emily carefully examined the assortment. Do you have any thoughts on the matter? Yes, but I can't decide. Show me. Selena pointed to each item and explained why she thought Liam might like it. Got it. Good options. Liam has a gentle personality. I'm not that close with him, but I think he'd like this, or this. What do you say? Selena looked at the suggested items. I guess I'll choose this one. A painting of a field and horses. Oh, you'd like that? Lilith's mirror. Interesting. Or a drawing set. That might bring up bad memories. Probably not the best. This could also bring up memories, but then I'm concerned he'd be like, well, do you remember me now? And I'm like, I don't know, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I feel like this is like something good for all occasions. Like, I know this one is the higher gem count. Should I get the most expensive gift? I don't know. I really like this gift though. I wonder will we get extra story bits from this one? Getting someone a mirror for, well, it's Lilith's mirror. Maybe they have memories with it, but I don't know if they're good memories though. So I'm still concerned about this freaking mirror. Okay, I like the painting. I'm gonna get the painting. We'll just see what happens. Nice gift. I'm sure he'll like it. Selena felt embarrassed. She even got a little angry with Emily for that unexpected kindness. How do I feel about her now? She sighed and smiled gratefully. Thank you. Not at all. We have to go. Good day, Lilith. Good day to you, too. Selena went inside the store and bought the chosen gift, full of relief and even happiness. I love that. Like, whenever someone makes her feel embarrassed and like that, she immediately gets mad at them. Like, how dare you make me feel feelings? As soon as she left the shop, a man crashed into her. The gift almost fell out of her hands. She pressed it to her chest and yelled angrily, Watch where you're going. Excuse me, I didn't see you. Isn't that the guy? Oh, it's you. It's okay. Vincent scratched the back of his head, looked around, and a conspiratorial whisper asked, Will everything happen tomorrow? Selena recoiled from him in disgust. What are you talking about? But he didn't seem to hear her question and continued. Some are against what is happening, but personally, I love when women take matters into their own hands. I'm tired of feeling like a fool. Can anyone explain to me what's going on here? I have to go. He backed away and tried to hide, but Selena grabbed his hand. Wait, tell me what will happen tomorrow. Why would anyone be against it? Liz, I really have to go. Vincent, as if scalded, escaped from Selena's grip and hurried to the other side of the street. Selena watched with irritation as he quickly moved his chubby legs, trying to get away from her. Something is about to go down tomorrow. Maybe Liam's birth was just a cover-up? She felt a threat looming over the city. Something black, evil, inexorable, soaked into the walls of the torture taught spell. Like a festering wound that was about to burst and poison everyone around, Selena shook her head. I'll find out tomorrow. I'm tired of guessing. When she returned, Josephine had already managed to decorate the hall. She locked the doors with the key so Liam wouldn't accidentally notice the preparations. Did you do what I asked? Yes. Great. Now let's go. Where? Josephine wearily brushed a lock of hair from her forehead. Bertie's almost done with the painting. Come on, Liam is already there. The home stretch. They quietly entered the workshop so as not to interfere with the process. Liam stood behind Bert, gazing into every line, every stroke of the paint. Rob was smoking and thinking about something. He was obviously tired of posing and was ready to jump up from his seat at any moment. Without taking his eyes off the canvas, Bert said, You're just in time. I'm almost done. Liam perked up, putting his thumb between his teeth. Just a little longer. Josephine went to her brother, hugged him, and laid her head on his shoulder. She whispered something to him, and in response, he slowly nodded. Selena pressed against the wall, folded her arms over her chest, and scanned the expectant audience. What happens when the painting is finished? Or are we looking for the answer in the wrong place? Rob exhaled 2 bursts of smoke, and when it dissipated, his gaze was directed to the servant. Be on the lookout. She nodded. Yes, I know. Something's going to happen very soon. The room was filled with anticipation. An impatient tension emanated from everyone as if they were watching the work of this sapper on whom their lives depended. Which wire would trigger their death? The brush in Bert's hands moved faster and then froze. Done. Liam rushed to the painting, took it in his hands. Careful, let the paint dry. It's wonderful. He enthusiastically, almost reverently, looked at the picture. His hands were trembling. Amazing. Well done, Bert. Glad you liked it. Rob put out his cigar, got up, and looked at his portrait. What do you think, Mr. Stelz? Not bad. Lilith, look. She approached them with some apprehension as if she get sucked inside the painting from looking at it. We've had bad experiences with paintings. Liam turned the canvas towards Selena so she could appreciate the work. Wow. Each line accurately depicted Rob's features. The portrait looked so realistic, but there was something weird about it at the same time. It seemed like the answer was so close and one single clue could help solve the mystery, but it always slipped away, forcing the viewer to keep peering at the portrait. Maybe that was Bert's talent? Maybe that was the thing that made everyone stop and look over and over again at his paintings. Lilith, do you like it? You have an interesting technique. I can't stop staring at it. I'm not an expert, but it looks fine. No, don't call it fine. He looks so worried when he's like, do you like it? I'm still trying to impress you. I can't stop staring at it. You have an interesting technique. I can't stop staring at it. Like, it's vague, but also feels like I could be saying that I'm enraptured. Yay. Bert bowed to her. I'm touched. Shall we hang the portrait next to the others? Can't we hang it somewhere else? Selena and Rob exchanged glances. Why is this proposal so scary? Josephine, you're impatient as always. I'll keep the portrait a while longer. The paint needs to dry. Liam's hands gripped the painting, almost smearing the paint. Bert is right. We don't want to ruin everything, do we? He handed the canvas over to the artist, reluctantly and carefully, as if giving a baby into the wrong hands. The weather is great today. Plus, we have a reason to celebrate. Would you like to take a walk in the city? I heard the fair is opened. Excellent. Fair? A foreboding feeling washed over Selena. Oh, you think I'm gonna run into the, what do you call him? The good guy. Tarot reader. The hair on the back of her neck stood up. Is there something wrong? No, everything's fine. Will you come with us, Mr. Stelz? Yes, I'd love to take a walk. Right, it's best not to leave their side. Selena felt embarrassed by her suspicions. Liam and Bert were so kind to her, and yet she was afraid of them. But that was her life now. It wasn't a movie or a book where betrayal is justified, and you know who the bad and good guys were. In real life, you could get hit when you least expect it. Liam, happy as a child, walked forward and impatiently began to stomp at the exit. It's just we hit the road before you change your mind. I've always forgotten what it's like to have fun in such a big company. Yeah, hell of a reason to celebrate. Liam's joy eased Selena's anxiety a little. I got paranoid. It's just fair. We need to invite Prima. She'll love it. Yeah, I'm sure she's already there because she's a tarot reader. Liam is so excited. Bert, let him rejoice. Don't get mad, sis. He's right. Today I really feel happy. Is it the painting, the fair, or the upcoming birthday? Wait for me. It'll only take a second. Liam went to the mansion to call Prima, and then they went to the city. He actually found her? Despite the raging epidemic, almost the entire population of Tossville came to the fair. Because why not? They think the dying here is just par for the course. Women in dresses happily walked along the stalls. Their laughter merged with the strumming of musicians and loud arguments of pub regulars who were already drunk. Children chased after each other with sticks instead of weapons. Looking at them, Prima snorted and rolled her eyes, behaving like fools. They're kids. Silly kids. One of the residents was feeling ill. People crowded around him. A girl waved a rag in front of the unfortunate, trying to bring him to his senses. It's not a good idea to open a fair when corpses keep piling up. Death shouldn't take away the opportunity to rejoice. Life goes on. Josephine broke off in mid-sentence, stretched out her arms, and exclaimed, "Mary, so good to run into you." "Hello. Oh, there's so many of you. Have you decided to unwind?" She spoke to one of the booth owners, but when Josephine approached her, she waved her hand to him to continue his work. I helped organize the fair. Lilith. She nodded her head in greeting. Mary. Selena nodded back. You look great today, Mary. Bert kissed the back of her hand. Such a sly fox, Bert. Why? I never lie. When you don't look good, I tactfully keep my mouth shut. Bastard. Mary jokingly nudged him on the shoulder. And here's Mrs. Stelz. She circled around him, evaluating him from all sides. Nice to meet you. Rob lit a cigar and coldly answered her without looking at her. The feeling is mutual. That's interesting. Mary, will you come to visit us tomorrow? She put her arms around his shoulders and almost purred like a cat. Oh, of course, my dear. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Prima burst out laughing. I bet you won't. Mary threw her a displeased glance at her. I see you brought her, too. Of course. Prima showed her tongue to Mary, and Mary did the same response. Man, the people of the city. Did you just get here? I suggest you watch the theatrical performance. I really don't know what they chose to play this time. Plays are boring. I don't have the patience for them. I saw a group that sculpted something out of clay. They promised an exciting prize. You should have seen the horror that is being done there. I'll teach them what art is. Mary rolled her eyes. So, the play is boring, yet sitting in one place for hours bent over a chunk of mud is entertaining? Naturally. You're insufferable. Oh, there's a priest. I want to talk to him, so you can poison someone else. Isn't that the old man who poisoned me? Poisoned? Lilith, stop talking nonsense. Mary grabbed Josephine's hand. Were you trying to poison her? Josephine recoiled, straightened the collar of her dress. There was a misunderstanding. We've settled everything. Obviously. And you, Mr. Stelz, what would you like to do? She crossed all the lines. I didn't even know about the poisoning. Okay. Interesting to note. An interesting reaction. She was real mad about that. I don't know. I need to look around first. I'd shoot some arrows. They have a competition going on. Would you like to watch, Lilith? He held out his hand with a smile. Should I go with Liam or join someone else? Oh, I think I'm just going to take a walk. Okay, if I had to choose, I think I'm going to choose Rob. I feel like, to me, I like their connection the most. Liam won me over. He is adorable. Absolutely. But, like, I want to keep him as a friendo. He feels a bit too childlike for my personal taste. But he's wonderful. He is wonderful. Like I said, I decided to trust him even if he kills me. And Bert, he plays some games. And so does Mary at the same time. So, I know it's his birthday, but I'm going to go with someone else. I apologize. Selena shook her head. Sorry, I don't like archery. It's boring. That's a pity. You and I learned to shoot together, Lilith. How things have changed. Interesting. I'd like to go with Mel. I'll look around with Mr. Stelz. Rob's eyebrows rose slowly in surprise, but he only said, okay. That's wrong. And me? Where should I go? You'll just run off and get lost somewhere anyway. You can come with me. Rim folded her hands over her chest and turned away in frustration. No way. That's the most boring option. Liam put his arm around her and said with a laugh, you can come with me. Hooray! We'll meet back here in half an hour. Okay. Rob looked first one way, then the other, assessing where to go. In the end, he turned around and just walked forward without saying anything. Well, aren't you a gentleman? Selena followed him. The painting is done. Everyone froze in anticipation. Tomorrow, everything. I know. Rob raised his hand, forcing Selena to shut up. Let's just unwind for now. What? Unwind? Is he kidding me? Mr. Seriously languidly smoking a lone wolf has decided to unwind? Didn't you get me into this mess, and now you're trying to shut me up? Rob lit a cigar, exhaled smoke, and smiled tiredly. That's right. I just want to have some fun. Sounds awful coming from him. He said it with a longing that Selena hadn't heard before. It seemed it was the first time he allowed himself to show emotion. Interesting. I just want to have some fun. Selena shook her head, trying to get rid of those words. He's making fun of me. Why is he making fun of you? Oh my god. A boy crashed into her with a laugh, holding an apple between his teeth, and quickly ran away. Come here, you little brat. That's not your apple. She looked from where the boy came from. Don't pass by. Test your agility. The guy shouted to every passerby, beckoning to play the game. Next to him was a stack of apples and a vat of water. That's it. Did you say something? I figured out what we should do. Oh, no. Gross. Selena grabbed his hand and pulled him along. What? Where are you going? What are you up to? Hello. And here are the first daredevils. What are the rules? Haha. Everything's very simple. He took an apple out of the bag and threw it into the water. You have to catch the apple with your lips, and holding it between your teeth, pick it up. Nope. Nope. The guy raised his finger threateningly. If the apple falls, it doesn't count. What's the prize? He pointed to the bag next to him. The prize is promising. We agree. What? Which one of you will play? Selena pushed Rob from behind. This gentleman. What are you doing? Rob looked at her in confusion over his shoulder, but she kept pushing him forward. I'm not doing this. You wanted to have some fun. Isn't this fun? That's not what I meant. You just don't know how to have fun. And you do? I'll play if you play. They stared at each other with glowing eyes as if they were about to pounce. Well? Rob's pensive stare made her want to look away, but she forced herself to keep peering into his eyes. Oops. Rob rolled up his sleeves. Okay. Great. I'll tie your hands, not too tight, but enough that you cannot use them. Put them behind your back. Rob dutifully complied with the request. Is he really going to play? The guy approached Selena. Allow me? Do you want us to play at the same time? Sure thing. It's a competition after all. But just admit you changed your mind. No way. She turned her back so the guy could tie her up. Well, go. Rob bent over the vat in a bizarre pose. It was unusual to see him like that. He tried to squeeze the apple, but as soon as his lips touched the fruit, it slipped away. Damn. Rob started circling the vat, trying to come at the right angle, but no matter what he did, he couldn't catch the apple. He suddenly got up, disheveled, out of breath, with eyes burning with irritation. Water dripped from his chin. Do you admit your defeat? I've never seen him smile that much. Excuse me? I thought the other smile was his, his smile face. I didn't know that must be like his kind of smile, but like he's like actually enjoying himself. Like laugh lines are out and everything. I think this is the most handsome I've seen him look. No. Selena sank down and stretched her lips to the apple, but it immediately floated away towards Rob. This is harder than it looks. It was difficult to win for one player. For two, it was impossible. They kept interfering with each other's attempts. Both tried to seize their opportunity to catch the apple, but in the end, they only pushed it away. They couldn't even touch it properly. Onlookers gathered around them. Everyone was cheering them on. Tired of a pointless fight, Selena whispered to Rob without getting up. Look, we can never win this way. Let's help each other. Yes, my back hurts already. What should we do? Just open your mouth and don't move. What? You don't have to talk, just open your mouth. Rob nudged the apple with his nose. It swayed and swam towards Selena. Don't move. He came closer and did the same thing again. Their faces were very close to each other. Don't turn away. He cupped the apple with his lips and it pressed against Selena's lips. Rob pushed hard so that the fruit had nowhere to go, stuck between them. Then Rob began to slowly rise, forcing Selena to do the same. Oh, nice. Oh, I love it when they do the correct skin tone. Gorgeous. So cute. So very cute. I'm gonna look at picture. Look how happy he is. Selena bounced back. Rob caught the apple and bowed to the cheering crowd. You became closer. What was that? People call it a victory. Impulsively, Rob tucked in a stray strand of Selena's tousled hair. She shrugged at the touch of his cold fingers. Wait, how did he get his hands untied? Well, that's not fair. You helped each other. Rob turned to the apple guy. The rules didn't say that helping each other is prohibited. Okay, you win. Here's your bag. Keep it to yourself. But, come on, Lilith. You were giving him our prize? Why did we do it then? Rob pushed Selena forward to have some fun. I thought that was our goal, wasn't it? Well, yes, but I didn't know you could fool around like that. Neither did I. See, I thought that was as smiley as he gets, but that's just his smirk face. He has like an actual smile expression. Adorable. They started walking around the fair without saying a word. Rob looked around and Selena pondered. Her thoughts, like balloons released from her hands, were carried away by the wind, until she suddenly noticed among the crowd the one whom she was looking for so long. That's him. Who are you talking about? Selena froze, trying to figure out what the tarot reader would do. What's the matter, Lilith? The black cloak flashed here and there among the people. Then it showed up for the last time, disappeared into the crowd. Is he running away? Do you see the ghost again? Selena shook her head vaguely, still looking for the tarot reader in the crowd, but couldn't see him. You won't get away that easy. She rushed after him. What's wrong with her? Where is he? Selena tried to navigate through the crowd. She saw the tarot reader's cloak everywhere, but as soon as she touched him, it turned out to be a completely different person. She eventually stopped, her shoulders drooping in disappointment. I imagined it. I won't find him. And yet she felt that someone was watching her, chuckling at her attempts to find someone who wasn't there. And what skill is this? I don't know, but I have enough. You're here somewhere. I can feel it. Selena ran on, looking around. She stopped, turning around in fright. A tarot reader stood behind one of the booths, hiding from prying eyes. He was in no hurry and wasn't afraid that Selena would notice him. You human. Hello, Lilith. He's talking. Don't say that damn name. Why? It suits you. Selena was confused. She had pursued him, but when she found him, she didn't know what to say. What am I doing here? Why am I here? Answer. She was impatient and broke into a scream. This is something you must discover on your own. What was I punished for? There are people much worse than me. Why me? He laughed. Once you can answer this question, you'll be set free. I mean, she's not wrong. Selena came closer, completely forgetting about fear and pride, and almost begged. Please let me go. His laugh rang out again. It's not funny. Everyone has their own path. It will help you escape this place. But if you're arrogant, you won't find your way back. And what, stay here forever? Or die here? Is this world real? You understand everything. Who are you? One day I'll show you my face, so you do have one. I can't wait. Selena came very close, reached out to rip off the hood, but the tarot reader grabbed her wrist. No. What does his hand look like? Let it go, it hurts. He didn't try to torture her and immediately complied with the request. You're impatient. Why are you stalking me? I'm drawn to you. What does that mean? I'll only say one thing. Everything isn't at all what you think it is. I'll be watching you, but you'll only see me if you move forward. I'll wait for you. Is that all I get? Wait. But the tarot reader disappeared. Only a disembodied black haze remained of him. It dissipated, leaving an emptiness in Selena's soul. What did he mean by saying he's drawn to me? Maybe that's part of the curse? Is he drawn to the one he cursed? Selena went back. People in tattered clothes passed by, casting wary glances at her. It smelled of food and animals. She felt nauseous. So tired of all this. She hated that place. She hated the unknown. The Terrorbeat is playing me. He won't let me go. Then what's the point of playing along and trying to fit into this world? Her heart sank with fear and anxiety. Selena stopped, slowly turning her head and stared at the tent, an exact replica of the one where she first met the tarot reader. She turned away, closing her eyes. Well, here it is again. I won't go in. I won't fall for it again. Do you hear me? But her legs didn't obey. Selena tried to walk away, but her feet felt glued in place. So I have to go in, right? Fine. I'm not afraid. She turned to the tent and confidently walked towards it. She pulled back the curtain abruptly as if defying fate. It was dark inside, but she could recognize every corner. Everything looked exactly like it did then. Selena's courage faded a little. She remained standing in the aisle. Are you there? Someone was sitting on a chair, but it was difficult to see who exactly. Is that you? Selena backed away. She didn't know who was sitting in front of her, but it wasn't the tarot reader. Cutting through the dense darkness, a clawed hand appeared, illuminated by a ray of sun. Yo! Who are you? The silhouette moved, gently tilting so that Selena could see her face. It's been a long time since we saw each other. You. Her legs gave way. Selena's brain was hysterically trying to figure out what to do, shouting and attacking her or run away without looking back. Do you like your new place? Lilith. Yeah, I'm still confused at the why. Why? What did I do wrong? Selena took a step forward. I can think of a lot of things you did wrong, but like more than most people. Like, why her specifically? Selena took a step forward despite the tears seething in her chest. You still don't get it. You really don't understand what all this is for? She rose from her place and her eyes lit up even brighter. Stay away. The shadow looming over you is getting bigger and getting closer. It has enough strength to stay with you forever. The sun has gone down for me. I have the right to draw conclusions, and you're too stupid and arrogant to listen to them. No! No! I don't know if I got it, but that was creepy. Yeah, that's what I said. Selena curled up into a ball, covering her head with her hands. She felt a touch and screamed, fighting off anyone who dared to touch her. Hey, it's me. Don't be afraid. Selena carefully raised her head, looking around. The tent vanished as if it had never existed. Is everything okay? Rob wanted to touch Selena but withdrew his hand. Liam ran up to them, followed by the rest of the group who had time to gather before that. Lilith, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling ill? Mary helped Selena to get up. You're pale. What happened? Bird touched her forehead. Maybe it's sunstroke? Yeah, it must be. A woman decided to pay me a visit. She's also taunting me. Selena was shaking, but not with fear. She was furious. You need to calm down and think soberly. It's good that the tarot reader and the old woman got in touch. I'm still somehow connected with the outside world, which means I can get out. Liam touched Selena's elbow. How are you? She got distracted from her thoughts and only then noticed that they were already returning home. I'm okay. How's your head? I can give you some candles? No, I think Lila needs to lie down, that's all. Yeah, because last time she drugged us with the candles. Yes, most likely. Mary stopped when they got to the city and held out her hand to the men. I say goodbye, but not for long. See you tomorrow, right? Oh, of course. We'll be looking forward to seeing you. Will you wear your best dress? All my dresses are the best. Lilith? She hugged Selena and whispered in her ear. You feel anxious. That's good. Mary pulled away, smiled at her charmingly, and walked away. What does that mean? All the best to you. See you soon, Mary. Let's go already. I'm tired. We're almost there. Mary's words unsettled Selena. Maybe that was her goal? Bird went to his place. Prima took Lima away to play with her in the garden. Did I say Lima? Liam. Josephine began courting Rob and keeping him busy with stories that weren't at all entertaining. Left alone, Selena could once again reflect on everything that had happened during the day. How the tarot reader and the old woman connected. Who are they? She went to the closed doors behind which the room for Liam's birthday party was staged. Selena put her hand on the cold glass. Tomorrow, something will happen there. I know it. But what will it be? A shadow flickered behind the door. The shadow came closer and froze in place. It stretched out his hand, touched the glass from the other side as if touching Selena's. What? And as soon as their palms touched, separated by only thin glass, the shadow split into two more. Selena withdrew her hand and walked away. The shadow in the center repeated her actions. Then the strange silhouettes began to move further away until they disappeared. Eh? Selena put her hand on her chest, trying to calm her wildly beating heart. What the hell does all of this mean? I wouldn't survive in this place. Nope. Heart racing, beating, dying out. This is scary. Okay, what points? Okay, when was the high priestess point? Obviously. Yeah, because I don't have emperor. Emperor looks at the skull. And redemption was the other one. Okay. I'm glad I had enough. That's fun. That's fun. Alright, now we're playing episode 10, the season finale. Everything will be decided on Liam's birthday and there won't be a way back. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the look of it. Everything will be decided? What's everything? I'm nervous. I'm still waiting for the shaking. Y'all said I will be shook. Chapter 10, City of Madmen. City of Madmen. Everything was ready for the party. The guests were about to arrive. Liam and Josephine were waiting with anticipation. They rushed from room to room, rearranged things. They looked out the windows, expecting their early birds. Selena went upstairs to tidy herself up, but for 15 minutes she had been sitting in front of the mirror, staring thoughtfully at her reflection. I played by their rules for so long. Was that what this tarot reader expected me to do? Will this really end today? What makes her think it'll end today? I mean, it's like she read the summary. Well, it was not a summary, but you know. She got up and looked at the dresses spread out on the bed. The final scene, and then we all go home. Why does she think it's the final scene? This is season 1. She chose an outfit indifferently. Look at you. Nope. She bad in that one. And honestly, I wish this jewelry would have been on this one. That was the only thing that would make this better. But I'm gonna go with this one. It's very pretty. Selena sat down on the dressing table again and began to comb her hair. Voices could be heard from below. The front door slammed. The guests are here. I need to hurry up. Neat hairstyle. Neat hairstyle. Elegant. Elegant. Ooh. See, I wish that wasn't in blonde. Why are like half of these in blonde and then this mysterious color, whatever that is? It's like, why not offer every choice in like all the colors? It's very confusing. Like, 'cause you can always like start a story with like several different types of colors of hair, but as the story goes on, it's like those colors don't appear anymore, and it's very strange. I think the only one that doesn't do that is Legend of the Willow. Like, for every style, there's all the colors. For the most, yeah, there is. So it's just very confusing. I think I might go with this one. So I don't quite like that one. Because see, the ones that I like this one and I like this one. But they're not in colors that I want. I don't really like this style. This one's okay. You know what? If this doesn't have an effect, I tell you what I'm gonna do. Since I'm not happy with them, I'm not gonna. I got the best dress. I'm not gonna choose a hairstyle. I'm just gonna pick my own. Okay, so I'm gonna choose a free one. And I'm just gonna fix my own hair. Okay. She got up from the table, barely paying attention to how she looked, and went downstairs. I decided to just go back to my roots with the hair we started with. You know, it's nice. On the stairs, Selena made a mental note to herself. Stop! Sorry. Never seen so many people in the hotel. Yet the mansion seemed to have been created for balls or crowded meetings. It looked enormous and ready to accommodate anyone. Liam greeted each guest with a smile. He kindly accompanied everyone to the hall where everything was ready for the celebration. You look nice. Oh, nice. That's just her color. Noticing Josephine and Mary, Selena slowed down and hid behind a wall. So glad you came, dear. She hugged Mary and, unnoticed by everyone, handed over a bag. It wasn't hard to guess that there were coins inside. What's that for? Mary deftly hid it in her pocket. It's a pleasure to do business with you. I'll pray for your soul. I'm afraid I'm going to hell either way. Mary raised her eyes as if she felt someone watching. Selena pressed against the wall so she wouldn't be noticed. She waited a few seconds and continued to descend the stairs as if nothing had happened. She looked at Mary, raised her eyebrows in surprise, and said, Welcome. Thank you. Mary gave Selena an incredulous look but said nothing. Did she see me? Where's the birthday boy? He's in the hall with the rest of the guests. Let's go. Is Prima there too? Oh no, she doesn't like such events. Josephine opened the doors. Is that Rob's picture back there? Why is it there? There was an open piano in the middle of the hall. A musician was playing frenziedly with his eyes closed, and the guests were spinning around to the beat. They danced, drank, laughed, and seemed to have fun. People gathered around Liam, warmly congratulating him on his birthday, and he listened to them with a smile and childish joy. Selena hesitated, clutching her gift, the first gift in many years that she had chosen personally. Josephine gently pushed her forward. That is Rob's portrait. Go on, Lilith. What if he doesn't like it? Don't worry. He knows that the main gift is yet to come. What? What are you talking about? What are you going to do? You're very tense again today. Try to relax. Mary took a glass of wine and, turning towards Selena, began to back away to the center of the hall. She raised her glass and said, For the birthday boy. I don't like it. These endless secrets and mysterious conversations are getting exhausting. Selena grabbed the box, walked over to Liam, and gently touched his shoulder. Saying Lilith, his face seemed to light up. He smiled happily. He whispered her name. Lilith. Oh, look at you! And his birthday boy best. Hello. You look great. Thank you. This is for you. Selena almost shoved the present at him. Liam ran his fingers over the wrapper. Can I open it? Now? Yeah, I can't wait to see what's in there. Oh, well, I think it would be better if he tore up the paper. Oh, you've already opened it. Well. Selena began to look around awkwardly. Leon took out the paper and the box of charcoal. Confusion reflected on his face. Box of charcoal? I know you paint sometimes and decided, do you like it? He smiled awkwardly and sadly. Thank you, Lilith. I hope Josephine doesn't find out, but why, He cut himself off mid-sentence. Never mind, thanks. Thank you. But, what? That's not what I got. Oh no. Is there some sort of glitch? What are people talking about? Search. Arcanum. Oh. There's a glitch when choosing a premium gift for Liam that will eventually be fixed. Wait, is it only because I bought that one? Or is the other one broken too? I don't know. Well, that kind of sucks, but I mean, at least I'm not on Liam's path, I suppose. Rude. Sorry. He gently, barely touching, and kissed her on the cheek. You're welcome. He didn't like it, did he? Liam took her hand and pulled her gently with him. Let's go see the painting. Mary and Josephine had already evaluated Rob's portrait. Bert stood near his creation only bowed every time someone gave him a compliment. Rob indifferently drank water, looking around the audience. The rest of the guests didn't pay attention to the painting. It's beautiful. Like all Bert's work. Thank you. It's really wonderful. Almost ideal. Mr. Stelz, are you glad that your portrait will adorn the walls of our hotel? I don't care. Josephine smiled nervously. Mr. Stelz, it's probably impartial to art. I think we should go have some fun. I agree. They joined the dancers. Selena and Rob stayed near the painting, which hung honorably on the wall. Look at them. He said this without taking his eyes off the guest. They seem to be afraid to look this way. Trembling in front of Josephine and trying to avoid you altogether. I did notice. The crowds make you nervous, don't they? I never liked social gatherings. It's a nest of hypocrisy. Rob chuckled. Even though he hadn't answered directly, it was clear that he agreed with her. Be vigilant. I know. They talked without looking at each other and almost without opening their mouths, like spies on a mission. That comparison made Selena chuckle. Rob, surprised by her carelessness, looked at her but said nothing. He stared at her for a long time. It seemed that he was trying to discern something in her, and with every second he recognized her more and more. But as soon as Selena looked up at him, he immediately turned away. Bert approached them, handed them glasses of wine, and chirped. Serious faces always ruin a party. Would you like to join our company? Bert looked at Rob without blinking. He was silent in response, but the artist stubbornly waited. In the end, Rob responded lazily. No thanks. Well, maybe the lady would like to dance with me. Bert bent down, holding out his hand. I mean, that's fine. But can I dance with Rob instead? Let's find out. Bert lowered his hand, straightened up, and smiled charmingly. I see. If you change your mind, I'm at your disposal. Thank you. Selena watched Bert join the others. Emily asked him to dance, but he hurriedly took a glass and pretended to be busy with his drink. Sly fox. Ha ha! He probably won't dance, but I can ask him. Selena coughed into her fist, hesitated a little, but in the end she decided, maybe we should dance? Her voice sounded hoarse, and she coughed again. What? Come on, let's stop pretending you didn't hear me. I said let's dance. Second time it came out like an order. Rob laughed softly. I'm scared to refuse now. Good, then let's go. She resolutely headed to the center of the room. Selena, you're so ridiculous. She was afraid to turn around and see Rob still standing still in place. Then she'd feel unbearably stupid. But to her relief, Rob followed her. They awkwardly stood facing each other. Finally, Rob put his arms around her waist and pulled her towards him with a confident, slightly harsh gesture. Selena got confused for a second and at first didn't put her hands on his shoulders. You need to learn how to treat women. Rob replied with a laugh. You should be gentle with men. Brat. Selena tried to look at him and frowning stared off in front of her. I didn't mean to offend you. She looked up at him, surprised by his unexpectedly tender voice. He was likewise looking somewhere over her shoulder. That's fine. I'm not that easily offended. Liar! I don't think so. Really? I think you're very vulnerable inside, and that's why you pretend to be so tough and rude, so no one will approach you. You're kind of saying, if you want to hurt me, be prepared to get hurt first. You're a shrink, I see. He's right, though. I don't know what a shrink is, but I think you get the point. Selena was silent, staring at his chest. Who does he think he is? Does he think he sees right through me? Oh, he does. I can feel it in you because I'm the same. He was still looking straight ahead and didn't notice Selena's piercing gaze. For the first time, she wanted him to look at her. She didn't know why she needed it so badly, but it seemed if he didn't look at her, even for a moment, she'd faint. And he looked. Calm, almost affectionate. Selena wanted to snuggle up to him and cling to his chest, ask him not to let go. She knew well that feeling. She almost jumped away from him in horror. I think that's enough. What's wrong? Rob wanted to touch her, but she slapped his hand. Don't. Did I step into something accidentally? It's dangerous to let in those who see your vulnerability so easily. I'm sorry if that's the case. I didn't want to. That's what scares me. It looks like I wanted it. You and Rob are getting closer. Yeah, Selena got barbs and barbs. Selena sat down on the sofa. She was swirling a glass in her hand, pensively looking at the wine on the bottom. It shimmered, reflecting the light. Nobody approached her. The woman who had been sitting on the sofa for a long time jumped up and went to the far corner of the hall. What the hell's going on? The guests often exchanged glances and whispered. The festive atmosphere gave way to anxiety. Or maybe it was all in Selena's head, and she was projecting it onto the others. I'm having a hard time remembering my home. Why is that? I only remember the study. Was it really the only thing in my life? And why the hell did I suddenly start to think about this? She looked at the guests again, and at Liam, who was dancing with his sister. So many people. She was becoming accustomed to that society. Birthday. That's what brought it on. I spent it at work for many years in a row, forgetting what it was like to celebrate it. There were smiles on the guests' faces, but they exchanged glances too often, whispered, at times seemed to be listening and looking closely. What are they waiting for? Lilith? Oh, did I disturb you? Sonia couldn't contain her disappointment. You did, but that's okay. Parker was a little taken aback by the rude sincerity and stared guiltily at Lilith. You look better than the last time we met. Yes, I wanted to apologize for everything I said then. No need to apologize for having an opinion. Yes, but I acted like I can't argue with that. Today is a great day. It's the first time I've been invited. Yes. Why does it feel like it's not about Liam's birthday? Parker bowed a little nervously, clumsily, and said, My sister, she got sick and He fell on his knees in front of Selena and began to kiss her hands. She jumped up almost with a squeal. She felt disgusted by the touch of his greasy, moist lips on her skin. What the hell are you doing? Let me kiss your hand, please. I want to apologize for what I said. Stand up. They're looking at us. Selena awkwardly tried to make him stand up, embarrassedly looking at the guests watching the scene. Let me. What's to do with him? The fuck is going on? What does he think I'm doing? Why do I think I'm in charge? Okay, fine, just get up. Parker illy got to his feet. Thank you. You're very persistent. Will you allow me? She held her hand and turned away disgustedly. Parker kissed the back of her hand, but Selena immediately pulled it away from his wet and thick lips. Enough. What an abomination. I hope you're not mad at me. She wiped her hand on her dress and answered irritably. I'm not. Now go away. I'll pray for you. I liked him better when he hated me. Just what got into him. What the hell is going on? Oh no. Mary and her fucking candles. When Parker left, Selena looked around again. Why is everybody... The atmosphere in the room had changed. The music became louder, faster. The chords sounded almost hysterical. Candles lit up everywhere. The smoke coming from the candles was dense, making it difficult to breathe and nearly impossible to see anything. Where is everyone? Guests, almost like ghosts, walked back and forth, bursting into unrestrained, crazy laughter. Selena looked around anxiously, trying to find at least one familiar face. She rushed to the other end of the hall. Rob? Liam? Everything happened so quickly. At what point could everything have changed so much? Damn, Parker. Were you distracting me? The piano continued to play, but the musician couldn't be seen, as if a ghost was sitting at the piano playing a requiem. Selena rushed around the hall frantically, trying to find at least someone. Everything seemed to float before her eyes. Someone grabbed her hand and began to dance with her. She didn't see a face, only a pair of small eyes hypnotized by the candles and the otherworldly music. What's going on here? They swirled and the room started to spin with them. Suddenly the stranger let go of her and Selena, losing her balance, fell to the floor. She sat on the floor for several long minutes while the guests were dancing around her in some kind of crazy ecstasy. Lilith? A name she hated so much made her come to her senses, and she raised her head. She could think clearly again. Bert was lying in a chair, squeezing his head so tightly that his hands trembled heavily. Bert! Selena jumped up, rushing to him. What's going on here? It hurts. My head. I'll get you some water, okay? No, don't go. I'll be right back. Just don't crack your head. You're not a walnut, okay? A nervous laugh escaped her. What am I saying? I'll be right back. She ran for water, but stopped abruptly at the wall where Rob's portrait hung. Where's the painting? She turned around and shouted, Rob? Only spinning silhouettes could be seen, somewhere there behind the white veil, in the piano. Selena backed away in horror and rested her back against the wall. I was so careless. Now what? What should I do? Bring water for Bert or rush to find Rob? Bert can manage on his own. Can he, though? Maybe he would have seen where Rob went. Maybe he has information. I should bring him some water, right? I can't just leave him to his own. I don't like the sound of that. Bert can manage on his own. I don't like the sound of that. Like, I want to know what's going to happen to Rob, because I feel like he's the one in the most danger. But he might have seen something. I have to know. We have to question him. She grabbed a glass and returned to Bert, almost spilling all the contents. Bert, nearly unconscious, opened his mouth. Oh, he was almost, You gotta be nice. Selena brought the glass to his lips and gently helped him drink. Without opening his eyes, Bert whispered, Thank you. Bert is grateful. I'll go look for the others. I'll come back soon, okay? Oh, I thought he had information. Selena ran to the second floor. Oh, I hope that didn't hurt me for time. As soon as she got to the hallway, as soon as she got to the hallway, she was astounded by an all-consuming silence. Only the floorboards creaked every time she took a step. Rob? Liam? Fear made her voice sound hoarse, barely audible. Selena went to Josephine's room. Josephine? Nobody. Old hag, I'll find you. Standing alone next to burning candles in a made bed, Selena suddenly felt safe. But at the same time, she knew for sure that trouble laid ahead. Selena looked around. She noticed a shawl covering a painting. Is that Rob's portrait? She pulls it off. It's that ghost. Charlie? I wonder what fate awaited him. Was he buried with the rest of the guests there, in the cemetery of the unknown? Selena looked around again, trying to find anything that would help her understand. There were 2 tarot cards and a knife on the nightstand. She ran her hand over the blade. Why? She heard a voice from behind. It's a shame you've forgotten everything. You're not the Lilith I knew. It's for your own good. Selena turned around. So it's you. Before Selena had time to take a step, Josephine quickly approached and pressed a rag soaked in something to her mouth. A suffocating smell burned her nostrils. Oh no! Selena tried to escape, but Josephine held her tightly until she passed out. Yo, that's what the knife was for. To cut a bitch. In a faint whisper. No. Shh. What's happening? Selena was sitting on a chair. Her body felt heavy and clumsy. Josephine stood in front of her with her arms folded. She looked attentively, expectantly, lifting her aristocratic chin. Selena parted her dry lips and rasped furiously. Why are you doing this? She's not doing anything. Mary came out around the darkness, proud and calm. Selena was disappointed. She wanted to believe that Mary wouldn't be involved in the mysteries of the hotel, but deep down, she understood that her hopes were groundless. Selena looked at them disdainfully. Why are you doing this? Mary raised her eyebrows in surprise. She walked across the basement and stopped behind Selena and put her hands on her shoulders. Selena winced in disgust. Don't touch me. Mary squeezed her shoulders tighter, bent down to her ear and whispered, Why are we doing this? Honey, you did it. It was your idea. What? No. Lilith. Mary nodded to Josephine as she lit a candle. The candle was brought in front of Selena's face. Take it away. She shook her head, trying to breathe air, but the smoke from the candle was relentlessly entering her lungs. Bert, did you do something to him? We needed him, but Bert is too stubborn. I had to pacify him, suppress his will. Mary's lips touched Selena's earlobe. By the way, that was also your idea. The motionless silhouette of Josephine began to blur. Selena was confused. All she felt was anxiety and the foreboding end of her existence. A shadow flashed in the corner. A figure in a white dress emerged from the void. Selena covered her ears, but it seemed she was the only one who heard that sad cry, full of hopeless longing. Her life ended in this basement. How many people have gone through the same thing that I have to go through? For some reason, she wasn't scared. She wasn't afraid to die. She had nothing to lose, and it was scarier than the thought of death. Through the haze of the moment, Selena heard, We need to lift her. If Liam finds out, we're not doing anything to her. I don't want to hurt her, but she leaves me no choice. Help me. Lifted Selena by the hands and led her to the door. It opened with a squeaky vibration. Selena felt the cold air from outside. They ended up in a courtyard, hidden from prying eyes. Selena had no idea about its existence. What is this place? What a terrible headache. There was a silk blanket on the ground, smeared with a strange sign. There were candles everywhere. Rob sat on his knees in the center of the blanket, bowing his head. Crimson blood was dripping from the back of his head. Rob? He was barely conscious and could only nod his head once he heard Lilith's voice. What are you doing? Are you Satanist? The fresh air brought Selena back to her senses a little. She pushed away Mary's and Josephine's hands and moved away from them, but her legs gave way and she almost fell. What are you talking about? I serve the Almighty, not the devil. You are the devil. Selena began frantically looking around, trying to find a way out of there. Everything's gotten out of control. Liam came out of the basement holding Rob's portrait in front of him. He confidently walked towards the blanket, staring enthusiastically at the painting. It seemed that he didn't notice anyone or anything around. Oh, no. Liam, please. Liam, please. It's a beautiful painting, isn't it, Lilith? He turned the portrait towards Selena so she could appreciate it again. Josephine stepped forward, holding out her hand in a soothing gesture. At a time like this, Liam is always overly aroused. Dear, leave Lilith alone. What? He blinked lowered the pain and looked at Selena with a more conscious look. What's the matter? You're in on it as well? Something inside broke and shattered forever and irrevocably. Selena trembled, wrapping her arms around herself. She wanted to cry. Her last glimpse of hope faded away. What a fool I was. Liam hugged the painting. His tense eyebrows went up, his lips quivered. He looked like a frightened boy lost in the big world. Liam gave the painting to Mary and walked over to Selena, holding her hands tightly. Lilith, you forgot? How could I? He pressed his forehead to her forehead, closed his eyes. If once he opened them, everything would turn back to normal. Please don't look at me like that. You're the only one who didn't judge me. Lilith, please, I beg you. No. In despair, he grabbed her head with his hands and kissed her. He stared at her lips as if their lives depended on it, as if that was their last kiss. For a moment, he pulled away and whispered, almost crying, Please remember. Liam. Again, his cold but soft lips pressed against her tight, trembling ones. Ooh. No consent! No consent! His hands pressed against her cheeks tightly yet tenderly at the same time. His whole being prayed that Selena would answer him, but he suddenly pulled away from her, covered his face with his hands, and whispered, Please remember, Liam was sitting on the porch holding a knife to his wrist. His hands trembled, the blade scratched his skin. His eyelashes were wet from tears. Can't live like this anymore. Lilith sat down next to him, carefully took the knife out of his hand, and softly said, "There's always a way out, my dear." Liam lowered his head and rested it on his clenched fist. This craziness, it runs in my blood. The whole city knows about my sick mind. Sometimes I'm afraid of myself. But I can't fight it. When I paint, I can't. I'm not talented, and this rage taking over me. At first, I'm full of energy. It seems that the whole world's at my feet. But as soon as my hand flinches, I do something wrong, and something animal wakes up inside me. I'm capable of terrible things, but I don't want to be that way. What if I hurt you? Then you shouldn't paint. My life is losing its meaning. Lilith took his hand, squeezed at it so that he looked at her. Do you know what I got from what you said? You can avoid pain by hurting others. Lilith, don't say that. I know how awful it sounds, but listen, Liam. The tarot reader whispered something to me when he stayed with us. He said souls can be controlled with tarot cards. Eh? You cannot create a masterpiece. I know you're jealous of Bert, but you're the one who can fill the paintings with real meaning. Give them a soul. That's what real art is all about. What the fuck? What the fuck? Mert's paintings are good, but not more than that. He doesn't paint from his heart. You, Liam, you will transform his work into a masterpiece. After all, you need to put your soul into it to call it art. I don't know. Lila touched his cheek. The last time you painted, you destroyed the whole room. You threw a chair at Josephine and almost threw yourself out the window. You know your family history. You can't allow that to happen again. I understand, but trust me, Liam. Do you trust me? More than anyone else? I'll do everything to make you happy. This is what you do to the guests of the hotel. You imprison their souls in the paintings. And I came up with this plan. You remembered. Rob turned as much as he could, his head lowered down and lifted back up. He looked at Selena, exhausted. You? It was hard for her to stomach Rob's disappointment. He felt betrayed. She wanted to explain to him. I have nothing to do with it. She wanted to prove that he could trust her, but words didn't matter anymore. Liam stepped in front of Rob and exclaimed, You were right, Lilith. I'm making real art. I need a break. Okay, let's take a break. Selena ran her fingers through her hair and backed away. You're all insane. Josephine was silent for all that time, but suddenly she spoke up. Do you think it was easy for us? You were the only one who easily accepted this hell. Because I've already been to hell. Selena covered her mouth with her hand, surprised at the words and the anger that came out. Josephine came closer. She was crying. I know it's hard for you to imagine, but at least try to pretend that you have a heart. Imagine that the townspeople came to your house with torches and weapons, convinced that the Salisbury family was dangerous to them. We were living on a powder keg. This mansion became our cage. We could have been killed by the family madness and the townspeople who wanted to get rid of us. Imagine, for a moment, that your father, your insane father, was setting the house on fire, consumed by the thought that he'd cleansed the family of the curse. Imagine him laughing when he saw his sister and her husband engulfed in flames. Josephine grabbed Selena's hand and squeezed it so tightly as if trying to convey her pain. My father killed Liam's parents. This unbearable guilt I'll have to live with. You didn't do anything, sister. Josephine replied without taking her eyes off of Selena. No, I'm guilty. I was ready to do everything for him. Do you hear me? Everything and anything to make sure he doesn't end up the same way. I was trying to find a cure, to create it. She turned away so that Selena wouldn't see her tears. In the end, I created a disease. The point of no return. And you little rubbish, found my notes and used them against the whole city. Why would I do that? You came up with a great plan. How do you silence an entire city about what was happening in the hotel? How to pacify them, make sure that they don't bother or threaten you. The best tool to manipulate is fear. Exactly. You made the recipe and infected the city. And then you convince them that in order to get rid of the devil's disease, a ritual is needed. Oh my god. Cinna was doused with cold sweat. She turned pale. Why didn't you stop me? You were glad I was doing all the dirty work, that there was someone to blame, and you silently reaped off the benefits. I found people from other cities for you, and made good money on it. I never blamed you. I didn't like the other options. Nobody knows what's going on in the hotel, but everyone knows that you can destroy anyone who crosses your path. And then you suddenly started pretending that you had nothing to do with it, and you were just a victim of circumstances. But it doesn't work that way. Everyone has their own cross to bear. And we all do. I fell in love with Charlie, wholeheartedly. But Liam got worse. I couldn't abandon him. And you wouldn't let me save Charlie. I saw my love being killed. I saw his soul leaking away. I watched his eyes turning to me inquiringly and then freezing forever. Have you ever seen your loved one die? We each made our own sacrifice, Lilith. Wow. Wow. I hated Josephine this whole time. Wow. Yeah, I definitely understand. But wasn't there any other way? As you can see, no. You've overwhelmed the entire city with your madness. You're crazier than Liam. Rosen, is the lawyer in the know too? Scylla didn't recognize her own voice. It was so lifeless. He knew everything. His brother came to visit us one day. I haven't seen his portrait for so long. Oh, Liam. Josephine put her hand to his forehead. You're getting worse. Did you do it to his brother? Sometimes Liam loses control. Then you can't get through to him. He wanted his soul, regardless of who the man was. You ordered to do as he said. Frederick wanted to end it all. He took away his brother's portrait, but you threatened Rosen to infect his son. He writes to me often, tries to reason, hoping that we'll change our minds. Only he doesn't understand. Josephine ran her hand through her brother's hair. We can't allow history to repeat itself. Someone should have stopped us. Look at it from the other side. The residents of Totspell can take victims' belongings, all their money, dresses, silk. Everyone in this town was stuck in a rut, but now they have at least some interest in life. We were on the verge of bankruptcy. You eat good food and dress in such clothes only thanks to the guest. And most importantly, Liam is doing better. His madness receded. But you kill people. Do you even hear yourself? We're not killing anyone. They live in pictures. They're dead! It's even worse. You're doing them to internal suffering. I thought my note gave you some sense of sanity. But you keep playing games. Were you the one who hung me up from that tree? I thought you figured out right away. What's wrong with you? Do you want to stop everything? Yes, I do. No, I won't allow it. Please stop. I want to create a masterpiece. Liam walked over to Rob, holding the painting in front of him, then reached out and said in an icy voice, Josephine, the tarot card. What do I do? Okay, is this like a Shadow of Saint 4 type of deal where you have to have a good enough relationship with John to get him to snap out of his craziness? But I mean, this is like a bloodline disease. What am I supposed to do with my, oh, you love me? This is not about the power of friendship. Right? I don't know what to do. What are you gonna do? Oh my god. Rob, stop. Mary put her hands on Selena's shoulders and forced her to kneel. Please, Lilith, don't do anything stupid. Josephine handed Liam the cards and a knife. I'll make you immortal, Mrs. Stelz. Don't thank me. Why would he thank you? Ugh, he's insane. He's really insane. Remember when I said I don't trust Liam even if he kills me? I didn't actually think it would come to that. Rob coughed heavily, but his lips stretched stubbornly in a grin. I won't. Liam took Rob's hand in annoyance and cut his palm with one swift motion. Stop it! Scarlet blood dripped onto the card, soaking into the paper and mixing with the paint. No. Liam raised a tarot card above his head, closed his eyes, and breathing deeply, smiled full of peace. That's how masterpieces are created. He swung his knife, gripping the handle tightly. Rob quietly took a revolver out of his pocket, but Mary and Selena noticed it anyway. Knock Mary over. Josephine! No! Everything happened so quickly. Rob raised his weapon, cocked the trigger, and pulled. The revolver thundered and deafened everyone around. First, Selena saw a spark and smoke. When the smoke cleared a little, she saw Liam calmly standing in the same place. Liam? No! He fell to his knees. A thin stream of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. No. Rob got to his feet, turned around to his kidnappers. Don't move. You warned Rob and he was on the look. Is Liam dead? Is this world real? If you die, I have so many questions. Josephine pressed her forehead to the ground and screamed frantically as if she had lost her mind. No! She screamed for so long that her voice became hoarse. He killed Liam. Selena had already seen death, but she never saw someone dying from up close. She wanted to shut up Josephine so as not to hear the pain of her tormented soul. Mr. Stoltz, we all need to calm down. I'm calm. You release Lilith and me. Now. He wants me released too? I was surprised he didn't just shoot all of us. Of course. No. No! Josephine lunged at Rob, almost jumped at him. She began to scratch his face, his neck, and tried to claw at his eyes. Selena jumped up, wanting to help Rob, but again a loud shot was heard. She and Mary shuddered. Rob pushed Josephine's lifeless body away from him. Wait, did I do something wrong? Mary backed away and before anyone could react, disappeared into the basement. Selena remained standing, stunned by what had happened. Tears ran down her cheeks. She realized that she was crying only when Rob handed her the handkerchief, shyly turning away. You killed them. Yes. We're responsible for his mother's death. She felt nothing but pain and enormous emptiness in her chest. Liam, he couldn't really die, could he? It's all just a performance. We need to leave. He took her arm, but she pulled away. No, I have to look. She took a step, then another one. She took a step, then another one. Say goodbye to them. They'll hear you. She squatted down in front of Liam's lifeless body. She was shaking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Liam. Selena ran her hand over his face, closed his eyes, which were wide open, as if he were alive, staring at the ceiling, thinking. She just froze next to him. Rob had to help her up. Are you okay? Let's go. What's happening? Is this an orgy? She and Rob burst into the room. The intoxicating smell of candles made it hard to breathe and think. Everywhere moans and laughter were heard. Bodies trembling in ecstasy flashed here and there. Rob grabbed Selena by the hands if he wanted to protect her from the collective madness. The hell? He turns to Selena, who had kept silent all that time. How are you? She wanted to build a wall between herself and the outside world, but she only mumbled. Okay. There was loud music playing, but the smoke made it impossible to see where the music was coming from. Naked silhouettes of laughing girls looked intimidating. Their eyes were burning wildly. Among the intertwined bodies, Bert looked lonely and abandoned, sitting in the same place where Selena left him. He continued to clench his head and sway in pain. Bert reminded Selena of a robot that had been turned off and left by its owners until needed. A broken mechanism without a goal, now understanding what was happening around it, because they were controlling him. Selena squatted down in front of him and gently touched the top of his head. Bert, we need to leave. Rob opened the windows to let in fresh air. One by one, waking up from the delirious haze, the guests stopped their orgy, looking around embarrassed and panicked. Am I dying, Lilith? Mary's been poisoning you all this time. The candles only made things worse. Do you get what I'm saying? Candles? Yes. You need some fresh air. I'll get them out, and you open the rest of the windows. It's gonna be okay, Bert. Rob picked up the artist and, taking him by the arm, led him out into the street. So Bert wasn't in on it. Is it over? Mrs. Oberly, blushing shamefully, lifted the hem of her skirt and ran out of the hall. They intoxicated the guests to calmly perform the ritual, and the guests were happy to plunge into debauchery to the sound of music. The whole city played this game, a game that Lilith started. Selena opened the last window, breathing in the frosty air. It's over, but it feels so disgusting. Liam is dead. There's no one left to kill for. Lilith, would you be even more unhappy than I am now? The tarot reader never showed up. Maybe he never will? Selena was exhausted and devastated. She didn't know what to do next. What should I do now? Escape or burn everything down? Why would I burn it down? To kill the disease, but the whole family line is gone now. Why is that an option? Maybe if there's any leftover bits, maybe to keep people out. Maybe there's some leftover bits. What about the paintings? What happens if I burn everything down? Will the people in the paintings suffer? Or if I destroy the paintings, will they be set free? If they're just stuck? The paintings, they have souls. I'll leave, but they'll remain imprisoned in gilded frames. I need to put an end to this once and for all. Oh! For the first time, Selena felt the need to help, regardless of whether she'd have something to gain from it. She just had to help. Oh my god. Selena took the candle and brought it close to the curtain. This needs to stop. I hope nobody's still in the house. The curtain flared up, caught fire, and a hungry flame devoured everything it touched. Maybe Josephine's father wasn't so mad after all. Maybe he knew that only fire would cleanse his rotten place. Or maybe I've lost my mind too. Mr. Salisbury escaped the disease, but can the disease infect another person? Lilith, for instance? Selena strolled through the empty hall, watching the hissing dance of the flame. Noticing the fire that broke out, Rob and Bert rushed to her. Bert tried to reason with her, but his words didn't get through to her. We'll suffocate, Lilith. Gotta get out. Rob grabbed her hand and led her out of the house. Bert ran his hands through his hair and exclaimed, What have you done? I freed them. Rob looked at the mansion in surprise. The souls. Now they can rest. The glass of the window shattered with a clink, releasing fiery tentacles. Selena imagined how the painting on the cursed paintings cracked, how the canvases turned black and shrunk, how liberated souls broke out of their cages and flew towards the freedom. I wonder what Liam thinks as he watches the mansion and his creations descend into hell. And B, how do I find the exit from my cage? Was I ever free? I built the walls of my cage with my own hands. I wanted to get out, so I started building bridges. Wow. But all I did was dream of getting to the other side. You free the souls at the same time realize that you were always a prisoner trapped inside a cage. Was my real world, was that real? Or was that another game? And the tarot card reader put her up to this, though. So now I'm even more fucking confused. Where the hell is Prima? Soon fell to her knees, her strength was gone. She heard a faint cry coming from Burnt, but she didn't answer and fell to the ground. A shooting star flew overhead, somewhere over the horizon. How beautiful. Prima's face appeared in front of her eyes. A mysterious girl who saw the world as one big farce, the same as Selena did. Always laughing, rebellious. Where is she now? She remembered the pub, the fair, and the church. She remembered how Selena first appeared in Totspell and in a panic, almost threw herself under a carriage. That memory made her smile sadly. Who knew that I'd stay here so long that I get used to this place? A cold hotel with ragged walls and paintings hung in every room. A gray sky with eternal clouds and the smell of paint. Horses, floor-length dresses, and candles dripping on freezing fingers. Worried eyes, a tender touch, a heavy sigh. Selena's short life in Totspell flashed before her eyes. She felt like an elephant was sitting on her chest. It became hard, almost impossible to breathe. Selena opened her mouth, gasping for air, but all she could feel was pain. Everything went dark before her eyes. She felt that she was falling, that the darkness was devouring her and tearing her apart. Am I dying? A wheeze escaped from her. Her body shuddered. Darkness as one. A cacophony of voices and a clanging of dishes awakened Selena from her thoughts. The first thing she saw were hands holding a tray. Then she noticed the surroundings, giant wooden chairs, a bar counter, and waitresses scurrying back and forth to serve drinks. And only then did she see the visitors. The tray fell from her hands. Is that an elf? Lilith, what's wrong with you today? Am I an elf? No. Nope. Nope. What's up with your ears? What? Have you seen yours? Selena touched her face, her hair, and her earlobes in panic. Her fingers hurriedly went up and lingered on the tip of her ears. No. Oh, yes. I honestly don't remember who this girl is. Was she, Mary's... No, she wasn't. I know her face. I can't remember who she is. Get down to work. No, it can't be. She rushed to the window to look outside and rolled over a table with guests sitting at it. The overweight man in work uniforms cursed and grunted, but Selena ignored them. She opened the greasy curtains and looked out the window. No, it can't be. The whole music has changed. Is it happening again? What? We're in freaking Rivendell! Where the hell are we? Hello? Look at all that elven architecture. What the fuck? I can't. Wait. Was that like... So are we going to be like in a different scenario every season until we figure out all the secrets? But we have to solve the secrets of the place that we're at and solve the overarching mystery. Is that what... Was there a way to save... Oh my god. Hold on. No. No. No, okay. Hold on, let me... No, I'm sorry. I'm just clicking everywhere. I can't even find my place. Okay. Let me get out of here. Selena has to discover a new world, the Valley of Delusion. The Valley of Delusion. Oh no. This doesn't sound. Hold up. Okay. So you warned Rob he was on the lookout. Okay. And if you didn't warn him, you get the following choice. You can either kill Liam, or you don't, and Rob's soul is imprisoned in the fucking portrait. And then Mary tries to kill me. That ends terribly no matter what you do. I think I prefer... As much as I don't want Liam to die, I'd rather not have to kill him to save Rob. But I also don't want Rob to be in prison. Because then I would be burning Rob down too. And how does that work? If they die in this scenario, will Rob be in the next scenario? What was the point of building your relationship with Liam and Mary? Is it all new cast? I feel like not, because I feel like I've seen that woman before with the red hair. I can't remember for the life of me right now. You know what? You were right. I am shooketh. I am shooketh. But I've been recording for almost 2 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop right here because it's midnight. Now. Okay. Well, we got answers, and yet I am even more confused. So there's that. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this part right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and try the like button, some love, subscribe to see more content like this, and I will see you next time, because crazy. Bye.
I dream about us, I dream about the stardust.